Welcome to Accounting 201 Financial Accounting. For many of you, this is your first exposure to accounting. Each student takes this class for different reasons. For some of you, this class is a requirement for your major's course of study. For others, this class will be the basis for a better understanding of the financial side of your career or business. When I was in business school, one of my professors used to tell me that everything is business. No matter if you're an entrepreneur, employee, or business owner, even if you're just a student or consumer, everything has a financial element to it. The common language through the ages is accounting. Accounting is the language of business. So as we start this course, we need to have a common basis for our study. When a business starts, it must choose which entity form it wants to function as. In general, there are three entity forms you can choose from. First is a sole proprietorship. Second is a partnership. And third is a corporation. Each form has its strengths and weaknesses, and it is up to the leaders of the business to determine which is best for them. You may have heard the phrase, "I'm hanging out my shingle." This phrase used to provide a picture of someone starting their own business. In the old days, a business owner would open up his business by putting a sign, his shingle, saying he was open for business. Today, it isn't that simple, but it is still a dream for many of us. Depending on the nature of the business and how you might think it might grow, you may choose one of these possible forms. The simplest form is the sole proprietorship. The most sophisticated is a corporation. Note some of the pros and cons listed on this slide. A sole proprietorship is the simplest form of business entity. One person is the owner. The investment in the business and the decisions for the business rest with the single owner. A sole proprietor invests his own resources to start and grow the business. With this focus, financial resources could be somewhat limited and could be a factor in the growth or sustainability of the company. Even if you were to go to a bank for a loan, you could only borrow a certain amount based upon your ability to pay the loan back. In general, the sole proprietor takes the risks of the business since he is the business. If something happens to the owner, the business no longer exists. When the proprietor invests in the business, we account for the investment as contributed capital. When he takes resources out of the business, he reduces his capital in the business. Since the owner and businesses are one and the same, the profits and the responsibilities of the business belong to the owner. So, a profit or loss belong to the owner, and the owner is responsible for the taxes of the business. The owner is also on the hook for obligations of the business, such as payments due to others or any potential litigation. A partnership is owned by two or more individuals. Some partners can have several thousand partners. The advantage of a partnership over a sole proprietorship is that you have the resources of all the partners. These resources can be financial or non-financial. In general, the partnership answers some of the problems that sole proprietors encounter. The biggest risk of a partnership is that partners also are responsible for each other. If a partner does well, all the partners benefit. If a partner does something that hurts the business, all the partners share the responsibility. So if the partnership gets sued and loses, all the partners are responsible. Corporations come in a variety of sizes and levels of sophistication. A privately held corporation can be as small as one owner who has incorporated his business, where a publicly held corporation may have thousands of owners who normally do not participate in the day-to-day activities of the business and they merely invest in the corporation. For example, you may become an owner of IBM by purchasing shares of stock on the New York Stock Exchange. While you are a part owner, you do not necessarily work for IBM, nor are you active in the operations of the company. A corporation is treated as its own legal entity. It has the right to do business, own property, enter into legally binding agreements, and do practically anything an individual can do in business. Since it is its own legal entity, stockholders may come and go, but the corporation will continue to exist. Also, in the case of litigation, if the corporation is sued, the stockholders are protected from liability. While we have discussed the three forms of business entities in this presentation, our course will be focused on corporations and how we account for the activities that are typically addressed.